Is this the best USB desktop hub on the market? Well, it's certainly one of the coolest looking. Let's check it out. Dave Taylor here, and this time we're looking at the ORICO USB 3.0 desktop hub. That's this, buried underneath all these wires, because I wanted to start right out and show you how darn useful this is. I have one thing plugged into my computer, and then on the hub I get 4 ports. So I have a microphone, I have a hard drive, I have a Amazon Kindle charging, and I have a little thumb drive, just a little flash drive guy. And everything shows up on the computer, everything works fine. In a second we'll do a speed test of copying data to and from the hard drive. But I also want to point out that Kindles are notoriously fickle about power. So this puts out 0.9 amps on each plug. And that's exactly what you'd get if you plugged it into the computer. So a minimal output is 0.5 amps, which gives you 2.5 watts of power. That's not really enough to charge much of anything. That's when you plug in something and it says low power source, not charging. The Kindle kind of does that a lot. So 0.9 amps times 5 volts gives you 4.5 watts. So this is a 4.5 watt charger. Now, usually what you get on a smartphone is you get either a 1 watt or a 2 watt, or maybe 10 watts, 1 amp, 2 amps. It's complicated, all this stuff. So a 1 amp charger is your sort of general low power, slow charge. A 2 amp or 2.1 amp is where you get more wattage, and this is where you get the fast charge. And not every device can handle that. So just to sort of put this in perspective, this is not intended to be a fast charge device for your smartphone. So if you plug 4 things into this, there'll be 4 slow charges. But it's exactly what you want because it's a powered USB hub for computer usage. It's not a 4-port charger. So I think that's really important because I think people are going to look at this device and say, wait a minute, that's not going to fast charge my phone, and that's not what it's for. So as a regular generic USB hub, it's actually pretty slick. So let's do some tests and then I'll unplug everything and show you how it works. But in the meantime, I hope you can see there's a really cool little green LED glow underneath it when it's powered. So let's switch to the computer. I'll do a quick file copy test onto the hard drive, and then I'll come back and tell you more about it. So here's the 2 drives from the ORICO USB desktop hub, and here's a 1 gigabyte test file. So let's open this up and let's copy this onto that drive, and we'll see how long that takes. And I'm going to do this in real time, so it's not going to be glamorous, but that's pretty darn fast for 1 gigabyte, I would say. Done. Now let's rename it test file 2, and then we'll copy it back onto the desktop. So we'll put it back here, and let's see how long it takes in the other direction. Usually this would be even faster, and as you can see, it's running at roughly the same speed. Nothing to complain about there. That works great. Okay, so that worked pretty darn fast. Now let's take it apart and have a look. So I'm going to close the computer, and then we're going to just start disassembling it, right? So first off, let's go ahead and take the little flash drive out. I know I should have ejected devices, so it goes. Flash drive, we'll do that. And then let's see, this is the Kindle. That's why it just told me, hey, I'm no longer plugged in. It's no longer charging, as you would expect. This is the plug for my microphone, so we'll just put that aside here. And then finally, this plug is for the hard drive. So now we have unplugged our handy little hard drive. We're going to put that here. And now the only thing we have left is the hub itself, which is plugged into the computer. So let's unplug that. I'll let you watch the blue light. Goes out, as it should, because now there's no power. So this is the whole USB hub. This is the ORICO USB 3.0 transparent desktop hub. And it's pretty interesting. So the 4 USB plugs are on the top, but here's what's interesting is that on the side there are 2 basic power or connectivity sources. So if you use micro USB, as I have here with a little charger, if you use the micro USB, I hate that you have to orient the plug, then It's powered, and this is just plugged into a generic wall plug, the kind of thing you'd get with a smartphone, so no real rocket science here. So you can use this on your side table for slow charging your devices, or for USB things that don't necessarily need to be hooked up to a computer. Not sure what the usage case there is, but you might have one. But of course, where this gets much more interesting is this USB-B connector, which you have. It comes with the cable, so you don't have to panic, and that is actually the data connection for your computer. So you plug it in, and it's a little tricky. Plug it into your computer, and you are good to rock and roll. And as again, the light comes on, and this little hub is ready to take on whatever you want to plug into it, which is really cool. And I really like it. I love the transparent design. It's just fun. It's sort of this retro, ooh, circuit board, chips, cool. But it's interesting, you know, much more than just sort of yet another generic piece of white plastic. So there's a lot I like about this. If you really didn't want to use a regular USB 3, turns out you can get exactly the same sort of cable with USB-C. So you'd have that on one end and USB-C on the other, and then you could use this as 4 USB 3.0 connections on a brand new MacBook Pro with just USB-C. So it's a really smart and inexpensive way to get a lot of USB devices plugged in. And of course, that would work with any other USB-C device too. That cable is not included. This cable is. So keep that in mind. Now, before I tell you the price, let me just ask you, do me a favor and please go ahead and click the subscribe button. And if you have any comments or feedback, feel free to leave them on the comments section too. That's really helpful for me. Now, price. ORICO USB 3.0 desktop hub, transparent, as you can see. And how much does this cost you? It's crazy cheap, $14.99. You can pick one up at newegg.com. And if you look around, you might find it for even less online, as I did. So definitely worth checking out. I really like it. This is Dave Taylor, and I'll catch you in my next video.